Hello YouTube, welcome to Sin City Living, channel made entirely by full-time dealers in here in Vegas. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We have a lot of content coming out every single week. And for today's episode, I want to go over a little more in-depth analysis of what's called the dark side. I'm not going to go over how it works, that was in another video. I'm just going to go over some of the thought processes behind some of the players that play this. So, what I see a lot is of players that are playing the pass line bet, and as the table goes cold, there's been a lot of 7 outs, so they've lost a whole bunch of pass line bets. They start switching over to the don't pass. Start switching over to the don't pass because they figure that they've been losing over there, so let's flip it around. They figure the dice are cold, let's try and go to the other side. Maybe the dice are going to favor me. It's kind of like in roulette. Let's say you've got 6 red numbers that come, so you decide, you know what, I'm going to play. I've been playing black. I'm going to switch over to red for a little while. Start playing on the red. The downsides to the don't pass, as we've covered before, way more ways to lose on a come out roll while the point is off. Way more ways to lose. 8 of the 36 combinations of dice will lose on that bet, while 3 of the combinations will win. 1 of them will push. The rest are going to set a point. Now, once there is a point set, at that point we have to understand that it now favors the player. Now, some players, when there's a 6 or 8, are going to take their bet back. A reason for that is because there are 5 ways for an 8 to roll, 6 ways for a 7 to come. So while it does still favor the player, the margin is smaller. So they get a little bit, I guess, scared and want to pull back from it. As a dealer, I tend to disagree with this. Once you have a point, you've already passed the most dangerous spot, which is the come out roll. That's the most dangerous spot. So now you are favored. So if you've got that don't pass, once there's a point, there's really no logical reason to take your bet back. This is where you were favored. This is the entire point behind betting the don't pass. Some players will put a lay down, some will not. Now on the 6 and 8, the lay has to be in units of 6, as we've already covered. And this is one that can kind of go either way as far as the thought processes go. Some people will never lay the 6 or 8 because, again, there are a few different ways for it to come. So while it still favors the player, it's a lot smaller of a margin. Other players will only lay the 6 and 8. The reason for that being that is where they will win the most, because with a lay, as we've discussed, you have to bet more to win less. So some players don't like to lay the 4 or 10 because they have to bet so much to win so little. At least that's how they look at it. Now the thing about the lay is it's just like the odds in that it has 0 house edge. It does not favor the house. It does not favor the player. It is true odds, exactly how the odds work based on the rolls of the dice. Pure math. So I actually know a floor that refers to lays and odds as break-even bets or 0 proposition bets, because over the course of time, nobody's going to win or lose on those. If someone were to play every hour of every day for a year, they would come really close to breaking even as far as their lays and odds go. So some people will put a lay on a 6 or 8, some people will not, depending on their mindset. 5 and 9 tends to be the middle ground. There's people that like to lay the 5 and 9 because it still pays a decent bit for how much you have to bet. Every 3 pays you 2, and it's right in there where it still favors the player at a decent clip. Other players will only lay the 4 and 10 because it has the highest chances of winning once there is a point. Now again, with that lay, 2-to-1 favorite, and it's 2-to-1 odds for it to roll. So, theoretically, every 2 times you win, you're going to lose at 1 time, and it's going to be a break even. Again, dice is streaky. Those kind of odds only smooth out over time. Same thing occurs with the don't come. When players bet the don't come, and then it transfers to a number, whatever may roll, some players will lay them, some players will not. Some players will only lay at certain times, such as on a come-out roll. Like, let's say a winner 10 occurs, so this bet loses. Now the player will say, you know what, I want to go ahead and lay $30 on my don't. Some players will only lay on the come-out roll, because they want to still look like they're with the rest of the players. Again, this is not betting against the table, but some people certainly do look at it that way. So they figure they want to lay it now, because right now anybody playing the pass line will win on a 7. Because that way that player wins and this player wins, everybody is happy. Nobody is upset. Nobody feels like they're being bet against. Everybody's a happy camper. Other players will always have a lay going all the time. Some players will never play the 6 and 8. So if they have a don't come and the 8 rolls, they're going to say no action. The dealer's going to wave it off for the cameras, and that's just going to stay there. Reason being is you can always take your bet down. So if the 8 rolls, you can say, you know what, take me down. Give it to the player, they put it back in the don't come. So by waving it off, we're just skipping a whole bunch of steps. So if the player says no action, dealer will no action to bet, and we'll move on with our lives. Some players will say no action on the 6 and 8. Cool. The dealers, as long as they are paying attention, will say, yeah, that's not a problem. And every time a 6 and 8 rolls, you're just going to wave it off. They don't need any instruction from you. They will take care of it for you. Other times, some players will and won't, depending on how they feel, in which case then it has to be every single time. Dealer's going to go to move it, the player says no action, put it down, wave it off, good to go. Now there's pluses and minuses to the don'ts. As we've talked about before, on the come out roll, or while you're within the square, because this is the come out roll for a brand new game, quote unquote. The come out roll is the most dangerous time for the don't pass. Once you have a point established, or once you've come behind a point if you're on the don't come, now it favors you. At this point, it's a good bet. Whether or not you decide to do a lay, entirely up to you. But your most dangerous time period is getting past the don't come. The second most dangerous time period is when you hit a hot roller. We had one last night. This guy hit 6 points. Yeah, hit 6 points plus rolled a bunch of other numbers. We did have a don't pass player that just got annihilated. He did not give up. He just kept going for it and just kept getting crushed. So one of the disadvantages to the don't pass and the don't come is on the come out roller while you're within the don't come box. Another disadvantage is with the don'ts, there is no such thing as a hot roll. You're betting that the dice are going to be cold, and you're betting that a 7 will roll, or a 2 or 3 while you're in the don't come, or on the don't pass during a come out. So you can't really do a hot roll. If you've got place bets, say you're 54 across right now, and the player is just a hot shooter. They're rolling numbers. You're pressing. And next thing you know, you've got 540 across, and you're making decent money every single roll. You can press your bets up. You can't press your bets up on the don't come or the don't pass. If you're behind the 5 and a 7 rolls, you can't say, hey, press me against the 5. It's just not, it doesn't work that way. Unless you're doing a direct lay, which we've covered in another video. It just is what it is. It pays what it pays. You move on with your life, start all over again. So there's no such thing as a hot roll on the don'ts. That's one of the disadvantages to playing the don'ts. Another one of the disadvantages to playing the don'ts isn't necessarily a disadvantage because it's the same for everybody, but the lays. Bet more to win less. Some people don't like that. It is true odds, so it's really no different than doing odds where you're betting less to win more. Because it's true odds, there's no advantage to you or against you, but some players don't like to do that. So, and some dealers as well. So some people will only do the flat bet, because the flat bet at least pays even money. And once you're behind the number, it favors you. So that's one thought process behind some people that will play back here, is they don't want to do a lay, they don't want to bet more to win less, they feel like they're wasting their money. They would rather just stick with the flat bet that at least pays even money. Another problem with the don'ts is, again, like I said, the hot rollers and what can happen during a hot roll, which is why some players have the mentality of doing a 2-point or a 3-point Molly system, which we covered in another video, where they're only going to come behind 2 or 3 points, and then they're just going to sit back, relax, and wait and see what happens. If it's a hot shooter and all their bets come down, they're going to wait till the next shooter. Other players are going to play that 2-point Molly system and just stick with those 2 points. So if they get behind 2 points, let's say they get behind the 5 and the 10, then let's say they lay them both for $30. $30, by the way, is a fantastic lay on every number because it is proper for all the numbers. So let's say they bet $30. Now they're just waiting. They only want to do a 2-point Molly, so they're just sitting back. couple numbers roll, and then boom, a 10 rolls. 10 rolls, they are down behind, they lose that. Now the player decides they want to come back in if they don't come. They only want to be behind 2 numbers. That way they're not risking a lot in case there's a hot shooter. And if there's a lot of 7 outs, then they're going to win a decent amount. The thing about this is it's like anything else in dice. It is streaky. All things are streaky with dice. So players that play this particular method, I've seen players that buy in with $100, they're playing the don'ts, next thing you know they have $400 in front of them. That is awesome. It's just like players that buy in for $100, they're playing the pass line, maybe 27 across or 54 across, and they hit a hot streak and then they have $400 or $500 in front of them. When you're up and you're up big in percentage to what you bought in for, call it a day. Take your winnings and run. The odds do not favor the players on any bet on this table. I've seen a lot of players buy in for $100, play the don'ts, next thing you know they've got 500 in front of them. They keep going. They might even increase their bets, figuring, hey, with $100 I won 500. So if I make my bets 5 times bigger, I might win 2,500 next time. Over time, they end up losing it. See, a lot of players buying for 100, have 500 in front of them. Next thing you know, they have 0. It's just like any other strategy within this game. If you're up, take your money and run. We like to see players win. It's really painful for us to see somebody that buys in for a couple $100, playing the don'ts, playing the pass line, playing come bets or playing place bets, win decent, win big, get up a few hundred up or even 1,000 up, and then give it all back over the next couple of hours. If you're up, take it. You won. You beat the odds. Enjoy your money. Or at least give yourself a backstop. Say, you know what? I bought in for 100. I'm up to 500 right now. I'm only going to play 200 more. I'm going to make sure if I get down to 300, I'm going to walk away. Give yourself a backstop. Keep enjoying the game, but make sure that you've got a backstop so you still win money. So that's a little bit more of an analysis on the don'ts and why players will play it, how they may play it, what they may do. Thank you for watching YouTube. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we will catch you next time.